Yes, guys, welcome to our today's class. My name is Isangoi. So I am a Cisco and Microsoft instructor. Today we are going to start with our class, our CCNA 3. Remember, guys, we did already CCNA 1, CCNA 2, and CCNA 3. So if it's your first time, guys, you can go to our CCNA 1, CCNA 2 videos in order to start from there. And remember, we do provide certifications. What you need to do, you need to contact me using my email address and my WhatsApp number. You can check the link below. My email address is there and my WhatsApp number. So this is our first class. We are going to talk about CCNA 3. Basically, we are going to be doing automation and network programmability. What we're going to do, we are going to do advanced routing. We are going to see how to connect routers. And when we are talking about routers, we are talking about networks, how to connect networks. And remember, when we are talking about connectivity of networks, we are talking about large network. We are talking about wide area networks. And we are going to see how you can automate your task, how you can program your devices, right? So without wasting my time or your time also, so I will start by sharing my screen and we are going to start with our today's session. Yes, so today we are going to talk about my documents. My keyboard got problems. Okay. So we are going to talk about routing protocols, right? So today we are going to talk about routing protocols, guys. Okay. So this is right. So first we need to define what is routing, right? You need to understand the meaning of routing, right? So when we're talking about routing, what does it mean, guys? Routing means this is like a process of connecting one network to another network. So it's a process of connecting one network to another, right? So it's just a process of connecting one network to another, right? This is the meaning of routing. So remember, guys, when we are talking about routing, we are talking about a process of connecting one network to another, right? Or you can also say this is the connectivity of routers. This is the connectivity of routers. So we are going to see how to connect routers, right? This is so when somebody asks you like what is routing? So routing, this is a process of connecting one network to another. So it means we are going to see how to connect routers. Now there is another one. What is a protocol? Right? What is a protocol? Because we are talking about routing protocols. So what is the meaning of protocol? Guys, when we are talking about a protocol, we are talking about a set of instructions, right? So we are talking about some of the rules for accomplishing a specific task. So a protocol is just a computer program for solving a specific problem. So it's like a computer program for solving a specific task, right? So this is a protocol, or you can also say it's a set of rules. It's like set of rules or set of instructions, right? Now, so if you can add now routing plus protocols. So you can say that it's a computer program or computer programs connecting networks. For connecting networks or routers. This is, guys, the meaning of routing protocols, right? So when we're talking about routing protocols, we are talking about computer programs that will allow you to connect networks. Very easy, right? Let me stop sharing. So as you can see, so when we're talking about routing protocols, we're talking about computer programs for connecting networks or routers, for connecting routers, guys. So what does it mean, guys? We're talking about routing. Routing means the process of connecting networks, the process of connecting one network to another network. So you can have one building with their own wireless access point, with their own router, and you have another building with their own wireless access point, means their own router. So if you want to connect those two buildings, those two routers, you can use what? Routing, right? This is the meaning. So you can have maybe 3 wireless access points. You can have 5 routers, like 10 routers. For you to connect them, you're going to use what we call routing. So this is a process. Yeah. So this is a process of connecting one network to another. Now, when you combine, maybe let's define what is a protocol. When we're talking about a protocol, we are talking about rules for solving a specific problem. We're talking about a computer program for doing a specific task. Now, routing protocols, those are the computer programs or algorithms or set of instructions for connecting networks. So routing protocols, those are the computer programs that knows how to connect networks or how to connect routers. So we are going to see now different types of routing protocols, right? So we just define. So today we are learning how to connect networks, how to connect routers. For us to connect networks, for us to connect routers, we need routing protocols. We need computer programs for connecting routers. This is the meaning. So now we are going to see different types of routing protocols, right? This is what we're going to talk about. So for you to connect routers, we do have different types of routing protocols that you need to understand. So when you see a router here, there's another router here. That router is connected to some of the switches and some of the computers. This one is connected to switches, routers. Now you want to connect those two routers. You must ask yourself a question. Which routing protocol am I going to use? Because you know that it's only routing protocols that can connect networks. So you must ask yourself a question, which type of routing protocol am I going to use for connecting those routers, for connecting those networks, right? And for that, guys, you need to understand this. Even when you are writing your CV, when you are talking about your skills, you need to mention routing protocols, that you know about routing protocols, and you need to list some of the routing protocols that you are strong, that you know how to configure. All right? So I'm going to share my screen. So now we are here. Where is my document? Okay. So you can see here routing. This is the process of moving data from one network to another. So it will allow your devices to find the best route to send your information over a network. What does it mean? It means when you got two routers, those two routers are connected, or 100 routers are connected. Routing will allow also to find a shortest way to send your data between one network to another network. So the job of routing is to connect routers. But how they're going to connect those routers? By looking at the shortest way to send your message. And we spoke about routing protocols. Those are the rules that routers follow to share information and find the best route for data, right? Those are just some of the the types of routing protocols. Now we're going to talk about the types of routing protocols. Types of routing protocols, right? So guys, let's make it a bit bigger. So we do have 3 types. And you guys, so if you did your CCNA, you need to know those 3 types. You need to know how to configure them. Even if you can forget the steps, but at least you can check on your phone and so on. But for the exam, you need to know. But for work purposes, you must know already, like for connecting routers, so I will need the routing protocols, right? So it's so easy to look for steps and so on. The first one, it's what we call a static route. We have also a default route, and we do have what we call dynamic route, right? So guys, those are the 3 types of protocols we are going to discuss, right? So there is what we call a static route, there is what we call a default route, and there is what we call a dynamic route. So what does it mean? It means this, guys. When you have like 2 routers here, right? You have those are your 2 routers. For you to connect those 2 routers, you can use static route, or you can use default route, or you can use dynamic route. We're going to see the advantages and the disadvantages of 3 of them, right? So if you have a router here, another router here, you want to make them talk, you want to connect them, you can go for static route or default route or dynamic route. Now, you as a specialist, you as an engineer, you need to know what are the advantages of static route, what are the disadvantages of static route, what are the advantages of default route and dynamic route. And you need to know in which case you can go for static route, in which case you must go to default route and dynamic route. So we are going to discuss all of them here. And remember, guys, those lessons, they are also there like in your CCNA 2. You can also use the same concepts. Okay, let's talk about static routes. I'm going to show you first the configurations for today, and next time we're going to see the advantages and disadvantages, right? So what we're going to do, let's say I got some of the switches here. There's a switch that is there. There's another switch here. And I got some of the computers here. All right. And you run your cables, guys. So you can just plug like anywhere, right? There's no need for you. Okay. Okay, your switch also can go to the router, okay? Okay, what we're gonna do, we can separate them with colors. I can use this one. Yeah, and so guys, you can see that this is like our company. Maybe it's different floors or different buildings, right? You can put some notes. But let's say this one it's building A, and this one is building B, right? So now you want to connect those 2 buildings because it's the same company. This is your company, but computers or devices are in different buildings. How to connect them? Because these guys are working for the same company. One person from here will need to send a message to this this other person, but they're in different buildings. Now, it's your task to connect them because you split them in different networks. This network, maybe we're going to give it the IP for this network is 192.168.1.0/24, the subnet mask. And here maybe it's going to be 192.168.2.0/24, right? And remember, guys, we have three colors. The connectivity of two routers creates a network. When you connect two routers, it's another network. Means you need a specific IP for that connectivity. So here we're going to have another network here. It's going to be 3.0/24. And remember, so for me, I'm going to put the .1. So this IP, but the left's going to be .1, and here it's going to be .2. You just put some notes so that you will remember so easily. And here too, you're going to put .1. There also, I'm going to put .1, right? Now we can give the IPs to our computers. So 192.168.2, maybe .3, right? Remember, you need the default gateway because this router, this network will try to talk to other networks. So you will require a default gateway. Every time a computer must connect to the internet or to other network, that computer must have a default gateway. So a default gateway, this is the IP address of the router, of your own router. So this is what we're going to put here, 192.168.2.1, right? So this is the IP of these ports here. So when you are done, we can go to this one. We can do the same. Okay. 192.168.2, maybe .4. Remember, default gateway, 192.168.2.1. Remember, the default gateway is the same because it's the IP address of the wireless access point. So it's the IP address of the router. So it's the same for all your computers. When you are done, we can go to this network. We can do the same. Remember, this network, the IP is .1. So we go here, 192.168.1.3 maybe, and default gateway .1.1, right? And this one maybe it can be 192.168.1.4, 192.168.1.1. So because you are done, you can try the connectivity between themselves. You can try to ping your router. Right? You can see that it's request a timed out. There is no connectivity. Why? Because remember, this port is off and there is no IP yet here. So now we're going to bring this port from the router up and we're going to give it an IP address, right? Remember, it's this one. You just go to your router, you go to CLI, you can say no because it's a router, enable, conft, you know all those steps. Like interface, remember it's gigabit 0/0. We can check the interface number. It's 0/0/1. You press enter. So this one. We want to give it an IP address. This is the default gateway for this one. We must bring it first up. No shutdown. It's up. That's why I'm using like shortcut, and you can give it an IP address now. IP address 192.168.1.1. Remember, it was .1.1 followed by the subnet mask. .0, you press enter, right? And you can exit. And now, when you come again, like here, you can try again to ping and see. You can see that now the connectivity, like it's okay. So your computer can reach the default gateway, can reach the wireless access point, right? Now we are done this part. We're gonna go to this one. We do the same. You go to your router, you bring this interface up, this one, and you assign it an IP address. Remember, this is the IP. You're gonna come there, you say no, enable const interface one, no shutdown, we bring it up. IP address 192.168.1.1. No, it's 2 here, .2.1, 255. You can give it like any IP here, as long as it's not taken. .0, you press enter and you exit, right? Now you can see that it's green. Green means it's working. Now we're gonna try from this computer to reach one of the computer here, right? Maybe from here, I wanna reach that other network. Ping 192.168.1.1, right? You can see there is a reply from your router. This router will be replying. The router will tell you destination host unreachable. Means what? Means you can reach your wireless access point, but you cannot reach other networks, right? Means routers don't know how to communicate yet. You need to tell your routers how to talk, how to connect those networks using what we call routing protocols. But because we're talking about static routes, this is what we're going to be using. We're going to use routing protocol, but we're going to talk about a static route, a fixed route. So what we're going to do, we need to bring first this one up, right? This port, you must bring it up, and you must assign it an IP address. Remember, this is the IP address we're going to assign, but we're going to give it .1. So the interface, you bring it up, no shutdown, and you assign your IP address 192.168.3.1. Remember, this is the IP address of this network, the blue network. And followed by what? By your IP address, your subnet mask. .0, you press, you enter, and you exit, right? Now, when you are done, we're gonna configure the static route, guys. For the static route, the command is simple, right? What you're gonna do, you are on this router. We want to configure a fixed route or a static route. You must say like IP routes, right? So you are telling these routers, IP routes, you take the next network, this network, this one here. So you said like IP route, this network. So you are telling your router to connect this network. So IP routes, remember the IP address here. My screen, where is it here? Okay, so the IP of the network is .1.0. So this is what you're going to put here. So IP routes 192.168.1.0. So guys, you go to the first router. You said IP route the next network. So if you got other networks, you're going to go to the line number 2, the IP routes, you put that other network. So you are telling your router to learn about other networks. IP route, the following networks, followed by what? The subnet mask of that network, .0. Now you need to say this one must be connected to you, but the request will come from this port. The IP address for this computer, you must put the IP address of this one. So the IP address of this one is going to be 192.168. Remember, but we never gave it yet, but we know like it's .3.2. .3.2. You press enter, right? And you can exit or you can save it. Okay, let's leave it this one. When you are done, we're gonna come here. We're gonna bring this one up. We're gonna give it an IP address, and we're gonna say IP route this yellow network. This is what we're gonna do here. So interface, enter. We must bring it up. We're gonna give it an IP address. Remember, it's the blue network is 3.2, followed by the subnet mask. Press enter. Now, when you are done, we're going to configure now a static route. Because we are here, we're going to say, you exit first, you're going to say the IP route. IP route what? This network. IP route, this network is 192.168.2.0, followed by the subnet mask, .0, but you are not done. How the request will come, using which port? This one, this IP of this one. So it's gonna be 192.168.3.1, and you press enter. So guys, you are done. This is how to configure a static route. Let's try now. One computer from here will try to talk to another computer. Like one computer from one building, maybe you wanna send an email to this guy here. You can try again, and you can try to ping and see the outcome, right? You can see that the communications happen. Those networks can talk. We can replace it by 3, maybe if there is 3 somewhere, right? So you can see that they can talk, right? You can see the communications happen, right? So guys, this is how to configure a routing protocol. Very easy. You can add another building here. You add another router. You connect like to one of the router here. You configure again static routes. Let me stop sharing. So guys, what you need to understand is this. We are learning about connecting routers, right? For connecting routers or connecting networks, you're gonna need routing protocols. Routing protocols, those are the computer programs that knows how to connect networks or how to connect routers. Routers, they got their own languages. Networks got their own languages. Those are the routing protocols. So when you have your routers, make sure your ports are up. And what you need to do, you must go to your routers, right? You give maybe your ports like IP addresses. Now, when it comes to routing protocols, you need to understand, you need to ask yourself, how many routing protocols we do have? We do have 3 types. We do have static, default, and dynamic. We're gonna see the advantages of static, default, and dynamic. So if you choose to go for static, static means that this is the configuration that will be done manually by you. So routers, for them to talk, they need to follow that part, that route set it by you. It is static route, right? The problem with static routes is one of them is it's manual. Every time you need to go to routers and configure new routes and so on. Maybe if you got new routers, you must go and do new route again, new configurations. Now, suppose like you go for static route, what you need to do. For static route, you have 2 routers here, right? Remember, the connectivity of 2 routers is an IP address. Now, from this router, this port here, you're going to give it an IP address, and this port here, you're going to give it an IP address because they are connected. So that's connectivity, it's another IP. If there is another 3rd router, the connectivity between those 2 routers is another IP. The connectivity between these 2 routers is another like IP address. So suppose like you are on this router here, right? You want to allow this router to talk to others, right? So you just go to this router, you said IP route. followed by the IP address of that network and the subnet mask, and the ports from that router that will allow your packet to come in. You're going to take that IP, right? So because it's our first day, you need to practice. And next video, we're going to start with an exercise about static route. We're going to move to default route. And after default route, we will be focalizing on dynamic routes. So if you are done with static route, you play around it, you go to your CV. It's one of the skills that you've learned today. You need to say that I know about routing protocols. I know how to configure static routing protocol. Remember, wherever you are, like the guys from overseas, you can use my email address, my WhatsApp number in order for you to get your registrations. You just send me your full details, your email address, and you're gonna see a message from Cisco that will say that you are registered, right? So remember also to contact me for most of your exercises like PDF documents, labs, and so on, right? Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. I will be updating another video, right? Sorry, so it has been like 3 weeks I was not uploading videos because I got other works. I have to go and lecture. Sometimes I'm coming back tired. But this time around, I'll try my best. I have to fight in order for you guys to get new videos. Thank you very much.